In studio with us, we have Julie back again. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm excellent. It is always a pleasure when you're able to come in the studio and talk to us because we always want to learn more about students when they're younger and how they start with their mathematical journey throughout life because it begins early and it never ends.
It begins very early, earlier than a lot of people understand that it starts, but it's really incredible. Some of the things that we can do with younger children to give them that foundation for mathematical thinking.
Right, and there's a lot of times when students are in here and we talk about the different problems that they're doing and how there's different patterns in mathematics, and that's basically what mathematics is patterns, and trying to find those patterns, they become more complicated, more sophisticated, the higher mathematics that you do. But you're basically looking for patterns, and that's something that we're going to be talking about today.
Right, and finding patterns and sorting objects with different attributes gives that child the logic that they need, that logical thinking, what comes next.
Right, why are you doing that?
Yeah, what groups together, what doesn't group together. That really sets them on that path.
And then something that I think you just said was very important is sometimes the student might go, well, why are they being grouped together? Because somebody might go, well, those aren't grouped together, but then if they have a valid reason why they are, it's just another way to look at those attributes, and maybe they thought of something that the other person they're working with hadn't thought of.
Exactly. And because a lot of objects, and you can use patterns are everywhere. And so you can look at patterns in a lot of different places, in a lot of different objects, but then looking at those attributes, really honing down to why, like you said. Why is this grouping together? Why is that grouping together? And why are we doing this kind of a pattern?
Right. So let's take a look at some of the items that you brought in today.
Well, I brought, I always bring books.
Right.
And we'll talk about those. But a lot of times you'll see in early education the blocks. And so it's a wonderful way just to make a pattern with blocks. So I made that pattern, I made this pattern with the blocks, and then you ask a child, can you make that pattern again? And so they can make the pattern again, and then you might even ask them, how do you extend that pattern?
Okay.
What comes next? Because that dialogue, that language of what comes next, how do you know? All of those things that I talk about just about every month with getting them to question, understanding the answers to those questions is really important.
And then maybe saying, all right, so that was what, can you make a new pattern?
Can you make a new pattern?
And then see what they come up with.
Exactly. There's lots of things you can use. Because it was almost Valentine's Day,
okay.
I got some Valentines, so you can take different things that are different colored Valentines and then ask the child to sort the Valentines into the different which ones, and maybe they're going to say, well, we're going to take all the large ones, right? So they're going to put all the large ones.
You have these powerful magnets or stickers on there, Julie.
Sorry about that. And then maybe you're going to take the arrows and put those together. And then maybe you can think of a different way. Just how else can you sort them? Well,
okay.
I can sort them, I can put all the pink hearts together, right? I can put all the red hearts together, and then all the arrows together. So asking them to sort and then resort.
And there really isn't a wrong answer if they're able to validate why they're sorting it in that way.
Right, and so you want to ask them, well, why did you do it that way? So then you have that, again, like you said, the dialogue and the language. Well, it's because all of these are big or all of these are red. And then you can get into more sophisticated, like more difficult kinds of arrangements, like with the seashells. And so you can ask them to sort by color, or you just ask them, how do you want to sort them?
Right, ask them.
And let them do it. Sorting trays at the dollar store, great way to help children with sorting. So they might put all of these cone shells together. They might put then all the white shells together. So again, how did you do it? Why did you do it that way? How can you do it differently?
It would be awfully impressive if you had a young child go, I'm going to put the shells in order like this because this is the lifespan of the animal that lives in them.
That would be it.
But that's a higher level of thinking also, because somebody might have something like that you would be totally astonished at, but you would be, right. Now we need to extend what we're doing a little bit more also, based on the student that you're working with.
Right, and as children get older, I'm sure they might be able to do that.
And I know that we have one piece of footage that we're going to look at right now as far as some kids sorting right now and
Yeah.
seeing what comes next.
This is my
First
friend
one,
Derek.
We're going to create our own pattern, but I want to see if you can tell me what comes next. Are you ready?
Yeah.
So here's my pattern. We're going to let Vivi try first, then Maggie, you try second. Okay? Here she struggles. Okay, Vivi, you're going to go first. It's going to go pink, and then red, and then pink. Vivi, tell me what comes next. It goes pink, red, pink,
Pink, red.
red. There you go. You did it.
My turn.
Great, very good.
Is it my turn?
So Maggie, I want you to tell me how you could create another pattern with those balls.
Okay.
So tell me what I could do different to make another pattern.
You can either use red first. So like purple, blue, purple, blue.
Okay, let's use different colors. That's great. So let's make it. Ready?
Yep.
Let's go just like you said, purple, blue. What comes next?
Purple,
Purple. And what comes next?
blue.
Blue. All right. Perfect. Great job.
So we could see how they were figuring out that pattern and coming up with their own.
Right, and you can also notice that Vivian was the youngest one, so she needed a little bit more help, but the exposure is really good. And then Magnolia, she kind of knew she wanted to do something different.
Right.
So you can tell she's older, but they know their patterns. And I think the point is that parents can find whatever they have at home to
As
make
you have here,
patterns
a
with.
bunch of different
Right.
materials, anything at all you could use.
Right. I love these. We get these paper clips that are different colors. Great for sorting,
Right.
okay? Great for making patterns. And, you know, just things that you have around the house, egg cartons. This is really nice to be able to put everything so it's separate. They can see the separation. So
Right.
just an egg
Yeah,
carton,
and
very simple.
just like you were talking about with the shells, things in nature that you can find, just things you go outside, rocks, things like that,
Leaves.
anything.
Leaves and sticks that you can sort. You can do it with color, you can do it with texture. So any of those attributes that we want children to learn about and be able to articulate.
And I know we have one more piece of video where they're sorting things now.
Okay?
So Maggie, can you use these other color balls to make your own pattern?
Yep.
All right. You're a silly girl.
Okay.
What's your pattern?
It's red, blue, red, purple, gray, blue.
Could you create the same pattern above it up here?
Okay. I don't know. Ready.
Hold these balls up.
I'm missing one.
What color are you missing?
Red.
So it's wonderful that they're able to come up with their own, but you need to make sure they have enough supplies to be able to satisfy what comes next, right?
Right, but that's part of it too,
Right.
is, oh, I don't have enough to do that, so that's okay.
Just readjust.
That's okay, yeah.
All right, well, you know what? This is fascinating, as always, when you come in and talk about the younger students and very, very early when they can start applying mathematics and how they apply all of these different things. So all of these things, and if people wanted to find out a little bit more, they can always go to different resources, especially through the Kern County Superintendent of Schools.
Absolutely, we have a whole department for universal pre-kindergarten programs, and so they can contact the UPK team. They're up on the 3rd floor, and they're always willing to help.
All right, well, I know they're a great help to us. You're a great help to us also. So Julie, once again, thank you very much for
Thank
coming
you.
in and spending some time with us
Good to
here on
see
Do
ya.
the Math. We'll be back with more right after this.